I just rolled out to the side there. That's some serious curry in there.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, we always say sometimes the best strokes are the ones where you don't actually move. So don't be afraid to just pin it like Aaron is. Like these ones give you just as much relief as someone that moves through the muscle. This is way better.
Okay guys, Aaron and Jace here from MMT. I'm going to be talking to you today about a really common postural dysfunction that a lot of people have. And we're going to talk to you about how you can actually solve it. And it's going to be a part 2 series as well, where Jason's going to take us through some stuff in the gym as well that relates to this stuff. But the thing we're going to talk about is an anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so Jason is going to showcase what it looks like. So it's when the pelvis tucks down like this, and then the hips shift forward. And you can see you get a really kind of tight compression happening in the lower back. The knees kind of lock out in extension, and just the weight shifts forward onto the forefoot. So there's also a lot of pressure that happens in the calf. So there's a bit of a cascading result of what happens at the pelvis here. But I want to show you today how we can unwind that, and potentially some areas that you can target at home in terms of massage that could help you as well if you've got a partner or a friend that can get stuck into these muscles, okay? So the reason why I'm doing this video is that I've had a lot of people lately that have had this, and we've had really good results in terms of releasing a certain particular amount of muscles. And it's been amazing. Like I've had a lot of women, a lot of middle-aged women that have had some back pain in the past, and as a result of that, they've actually formulated this kind of posture as like a protective mechanism, and then they've reported coming in, they've had back pain, they just feel really skew-if, their posture doesn't feel good, it feels uncomfortable, and instead of targeting the back itself, we've been able to get into a few other muscles, and the cool thing is they get off the table and their posture is so different that they actually have felt like they've fallen backwards because they've been so oriented onto their forefoot here. When they get off the table, it's like their brain has a bit of a freak out because they're, I guess, in a more optimal and effective position. So really cool stuff. But Leo, come over here. I want to show you where we're going to be targeting today. So basically the hip flexors are the muscles that get really short and tight to actually create this posture. So the ones I want to target today are the iliacus and the psoas. So this is an abdomen, but all the abs and the organs have been taken out, so you can actually see the spine. This is how deep these muscles at the front are. They actually almost sit at the back here, okay? So the psoas is that long one that attaches to the spine here, and then the iliacus is the one that sits out in the bowl of the pelvis, okay, and then attaches to the front of the hip. And then over that, you've got the quads as well. Because the posture actually extends the knees, when the hips shift forward, you get this extension at the knees here. The quads can get quite tight too. So that's where I want to target today. And then Jason's going to show us some exercises that are going to help as well, all right? So Jace, come and lie down on your back. Thank you. So the first one I'm going to get into today is the iliacus. So if you've got a friend or a partner at home, you can try this out as well and see if it helps, all right? So first thing you're going to do is target this hip bone here. So Jason, that's that point of the hip bone. So what you're going to do is find that bone, sink in like that, and then with the thumb, you're going to push out that way, okay? So I'm just going to pull that down a bit there, Jason. Can you hold that there? That's perfect, man. So the bone of the hip is there. You've just sunk it down, and now we're directing our pressure straight out this way, okay? So this muscle is quite tender, quite raw. It's not normal to get poked and prodded in this region, so it can feel quite invasive. But yeah, anyone that has suffered a lower back issue in the past, this is a muscle that gets really stiff and tight as a result to create like a lot of stability in the back, okay? But sometimes when the back has healed, these muscles stay really tight and it gives you that feeling of discomfort. So we need to go in there, do body work, release them, and the feeling in the back, it feels like everything's been unlocked. That's why you get the feeling of standing up and you feel a little bit wobbly because you're not used to feeling that loose. So yeah, what you want to do is just pin these spots. If it's hard with one thumb, what you can do is go a double thumb here to reinforce, and it can be a bit of a broader pressure in there, so a little bit nicer. And then we're just pinning straight out there. So as you can see from Jace, it's pretty painful.
Full on, yeah.
Yeah, but you just hold, okay? With all your might possible, just hold there. If your thumbs feel like they're redlining, you can take them out. But yeah, just hold for as long as you can. And the general idea of it when you're doing this kind of stuff is try and start at like a 6 or 7 out of 10 on the pain scale for the person you're doing it on, and then hold until it goes down to a 1. And then you know that that tissue has changed, the pain receptors have changed, and yeah, you've just created a change in that area, all right? So might do that for another 10 seconds for Jace here. Give him a little bit of curry, bit of immobilization there. Leo's nearly fallen over. But yeah, pretty brutal. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly sink out. And yeah, you've affected a release in that area, okay? The next one we're gonna do, this might be a bit tough if you're playing on at home, but we're gonna get into the psoas, which is that longer, skinnier one that we spoke about on the diagram over here, just here. So what you're gonna do is kind of overlap your 4 fingers like this, so you have like 8 fingers there, and you're not gonna go straight down into the middle of the abdomen like that. You're gonna come in from the side here, okay? Because it's almost like, the way we explain it is like layers of a sandwich, and you've kind of got to work through different layers, the abs, some organs, until you find the spot. So what you're going to do is, yeah, Jace, take a big deep breath there, it's good, and then breathe out, and then you can just slowly start to work into these areas here. Just slowly letting him kind of receive that pressure. Can be quite invasive, but we'll just get stuck in there and see what he's got. All right. So generally with this stuff, when you're on the right spot, they could feel some referral sensations into the front of the hip there, the top of the hip. But, and you know, it's hard if you're just starting this out for the first time in terms of receiving and doing it, but yeah, try and really tune into the sensations, and Jace can guide me there and direct me in terms of where he thinks it needs to go as well.
I feel down that way for me, yeah. Mostly localized, but yeah, as you said, a lot of people get that referral into the top of the hip, or sometimes wrapping around into the lower back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can feel a bit going into the top of the quad.
Okay, cool. So what I'm going to get Jace to do here, just ever so slightly, is to just raise that leg up. Try and bring the whole leg up, including the heel off the ground as well. That's it. And then back down, Jace, and then back down. So I've felt where I think it is. Cool, and I'm just going to pin that there, okay? So we're going to go for 20 seconds for Jace. Just get him to breathe through it. There's some good ropey bits in here. But yeah, this is one that's quite an advanced move. So if your fingers are redlining here, just do the best you can. Good work, man.
It's good.
Brutal?
Nah, it's good. Good pain.
Okay,
but yeah, as you said, if you haven't had this before, you'll be like, what the hell's going on? But it does give you a lot of relief.
3, 2, 1, and good work, man. Nice. Ooh. Very nice. Okay, so that's the psoas and the iliacus. The other ones we're going to get you to do now too is the quadriceps, okay? So you might not have any wax or cream at home, but what I'm going to get you to do is just pin pressure throughout the quad, all right? So we're going to work through this whole strip here. So we're probably going to hold each point for 30 seconds, okay? So with your elbow, I'm just going to get you to place it on the quadriceps there, sink in nice and slow, and we're just going to try and go as low down as we can into the bone. It's a bit of a brutal point on Jace there, okay? And we're just going to hold there, just pin in, try and get to that 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 out of 10 pain there.
It's not too bad. I reckon if we roll out a little bit, yeah. That's that deep, dull.
Okay, so I'm just going to pin that there, get Jason to move. So what we're doing is just trying to hydrate these areas that are really stiff. He may feel some stuff going down into the knee, up into the hip, but we're just trying to create some flow in these muscles that, on these people with these kind of postural dysfunctions, this stuff's just going to be really red raw, okay? So holding there, we'll go another 20 seconds.
Yeah, good.
18, 17. Good, Jace. Breathing's really important through these points. So the good point about when you're pinning things and just holding things, even if you're an amateur and you don't do much body work, when you pin and hold, it's just much better for you because you can just use your body weight. You don't have to move too much. And for the person receiving too, it feels kind of, I guess, like somewhat safe, even though it's quite painful.
And you can adapt to it. Like I've already felt like it's eased up a lot there already.
Yeah.
Without Aaron releasing the pressure, your body sort of adapts to it, and now I can relax and let it in a bit more.
That's it.
So,
Okay, 3, 2, 1, and slowly sink out of that there. Very good, mate. So I'm going to go down a little bit lower here, so just maybe 5 centimeters lower. This is going to be a nice point as well on Jace, I can tell.
Oh, it's already going to the knee.
That's already going down into the knee a little bit, so I'm just holding that there. I'm feeling like I'm right down to the femur level there. And you've got to be careful sometimes too, because the quadriceps can actually kind of roll over the femur sometimes. So it's important to go really slow. And once you've pinned a spot, yeah, you want to be just as stable as you possibly can. Good, man. We'll go 20 seconds there.
That's
heaps
good.
in that.
Yeah, that's got a bit more in it. Oh.
Good, man. Keep breathing through it. That's it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good, mate. We'll just do one more spot down here. See what a bit lower's got for us too. It feels like this one could be pretty raw on you as well, man.
Not too. Oh, yep, there we go.
There
Took
we
his
go.
time, but he got there. Oh,
That one might have the most
yeah,
carry
that's
on
got
it.
the most. Oh, it's that sort of junction of muscle and tendon.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Awesome, man. We'll just do this one for 30 seconds as well. Keep breathing through it, man. You got this. So the idea, we're trying to find the most angry, raw, hyperactive points, because that's the stuff that we want to hydrate. That's the area we want to release. So yeah, maybe just as a way to, as a strategy, just think about, you want to pin 3 points on the quad: an upper point, a mid point, and a low point, okay? Good, man. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly sink out of that. That's good.
wow.
Okay, very, very nice. So we've done, the iliacus point, the psoas point, and then 3 points of the quad. So that side's had a nice decompression, okay? And I want to do the other side too, just so I can recap as well, all right? So Leo, I'm going to try and get a good view of this side here. So once again, to go over, if you're following along, you find that bony point of your customer's hip, then you sink inwards and you drop down into that little gap there, and then you push back out. So I'm pushing back into the bowl there, okay, to get iliacus, and there's quite a bit in here on Jace, I can feel. For me, the iliacus has always been one that really yields great results with this stuff. Like, I feel like anyone that has an ongoing back complaint has that anterior tilt present. Whenever you push in here, it'll really kind of feel like that invasive pain, but people will be able to relate with it. It's almost like they have a knowing that, fuck, I reckon this is somehow related to what I've got going on. But yeah, you've got to be pretty forceful in there, because it is a pretty thick muscle. Even though it is raw, you've still got to put a little bit of pressure in to actually get the effect. So remember, if you're struggling with the one thumb, you can overlap it. It's a bit hard to see there, but I'll try and maneuver myself so you can see.
Good.
Yeah, and then there. So the double thumb pushing straight out into that bowl. We'll just go 20 seconds here, Jace. Give you as much carry as I can here. There
good.
We go.
I'm glad you did.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Keep breathing
Oh.
in. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then remember, got to exit nice and slow there, guys. Ooh. Nice and slow. Very good. Okay. Next one you remember is a psoas. So remember, you overlap the fingers. You're kind of finding that bone again, and then the midline, and then we're coming in sideways there. So you can see, I'll use 8 fingers now so you can see that overlap happening. So use his breath when he breathes out. We just go straight down into there, and then we're just exploring there. Remember, you've got to respect the tissues. You're going through some kind of organ tissues, visceral tissues, abdominals. So people that have IBS and any kind of gut issues could be quite inflamed in here, so it might be quite painful. But the beauty of this treatment is you're actually getting into a lot of stuff that probably needs some flow in it too. So even if you're not on the hip flexor exactly, there's a lot of benefit from doing this work in here, okay? Cool, so Jason there, I feel like I'm in a reasonably good point there. That feels like it's pretty hip flexory, man.
Yeah.
So let's raise that left leg a little bit. Just so, yeah, so I feel like I'm right on the money there. Good, and then have a relax there, man. So I'm hooking in. And the thing is, once you're in here too, remember that muscle that's quite close to the spine. If you go have a look at that there, Leo, that long skinny muscle next to the spine. No, to the left, man, to the left on that abdomen. No, and abdomen. Yeah, there you go, bro, the psoas. Here we go. So if you look at my fingers here, if you think about his belly buttons near the spine, see how I'm pushing inwards there? So I'm going in towards the spine there. So that's where that psoas is, okay? So I'll go a little bit heavier and we'll just go 10 seconds, Jace. Good, man. Breathe for me, man. Breathe. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and letting go here. Sinking out, perfect. Okay, so iliacus and psoas done. Now we've got our 3 points of the quadricep, okay, with your customer. You're gonna tell them, we're gonna do the quad now, upper, mid, and lower to try and hydrate that, decompress that, get a bit more length happening in this area that's really compressed, okay? So I'm gonna use my left elbow here. Sometimes if the leg's out like that and you push straight down, you're kind of getting a little bit more adductor and you can't get that pinpoint quad. So sometimes it's good to actually turn that leg inwards or just straight, and then you've got this really direct ability to hit the quad where it needs it, okay? So slowly sinking in on Jace here. Got to be really careful here because it can be pretty acute. So sometimes it's good to just rest the elbow here and then just sink straight down.
Oh, it's bit premature. Oh no, there we go.
All right,
oh, it's that dull.
This one feels a bit kind of a bit rolly here. So I've just got to make sure I've secured myself. Just make sure you're stable. You've locked that pressure in. You're using your body weight. And you don't want to move too much because you don't want to have that rolling effect. You could put your customer offside. So just pin, hold, straight down to that femur level and use their breath. If they're unable to control their breath, if they're shaking, if they're moving too much, you probably need to ease up the pressure a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I just rolled out to the side there. That's some serious carry in there for
that's
Jace.
good. But yeah, we always say sometimes the best strokes are the ones where you don't actually move. So don't be afraid to just pin it like Aaron is. Like these ones give you just as much relief as someone that moves through the muscle. This is way better. Like you can relax into it. I know it's still tough, but you know it's doing you good work.
Yeah, it's more thorough. It's just,
And you feel it actually release that point straight away. Like it's already easing up. I can talk now where I couldn't before. So it's already releasing.
Nice, man. So I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then coming out of it here.
All right, so 2 more points. We're going to go to our midpoint now. Remember, this one gave Jace the most carry last time, so we'll see. Oh, yes. I'm liking this spot here, Jace.
Yep, that's going to be
serious.
Oh, that's good. Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yes.
That's heaps. Plenty.
Yeah.
So remember, the intention is to just hydrate this area. Any really taut bands of tissue, we're just trying to melt them away, get down to that bone level, and just allow that decompression to happen here. Kind of what we're aiming to do is reset that pelvis, because if we can reset that pelvis in a more optimal position, the lower back's going to be able to breathe. You're going to get better tension in the hamstrings, because basically what happens here, when this anterior tilt is present, the hip flexors, the lower back, the quads are really tight and short. And what it does, it renders the abdominals and the hamstrings to be really long. And long is sometimes weak. Okay, so, but for human movement and just anything in general to be athletic and to perform as humans do, we need a strong core. We need the abs to be able to be shortened. We need the hamstrings to fire in a nice short position, okay? So that's why when you have these issues present, you're just probably not getting the most out of your performance. Good, man. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest there, bro. Good. We've got 1 more to go. Down low at the junction point, like Jay said before, between the tendon and the muscle. Slowly sink in there.
Oh,
Let's see what he's got.
Oh.
Not too bad.
Not as bad, no.
Not as bad as the other side.
Bit sharper, but not the dull, intense the one above was.
Okay, cool. The beauty of this too, when you treat your customer and you treat a broad array of areas, is you get an understanding of their body. You know, like I feel like the right quad probably had more in it. You know, don't you reckon? Like
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, that's really good. So for me, there's not too much in here, eh? So
Nah.
potentially, you know, if this was a real treatment, I'd only hold it for a little bit and then move on because it
Waste
just
of
doesn't
time.
need it. You don't want to waste too much time. Okay. So we'll sink out here. Alrighty. So have a stand up, Jace. See how you feel, mate.
Oh, I just feel so much freer through the quad. Like I didn't necessarily feel that tight before we started, but yeah, I can feel there's a lot more range through the quads already.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so just to recap, we're going to just go over it one more time. Is a lot of people have the big anterior tilt and the hips that shift forward like that, and in that position the quads are really tight, the hip flexors are tight, and the lower back is tight, and the core and the hamstrings are really long and elongated, okay? So by targeting the areas that we targeted today, what you're gonna find is the pelvis is gonna reset into a better position. The general weight shift will come back onto the heels and be less on the forefoot, so the calf will thank you. The quads will be under less stress, so the knees will thank you. And when you go for a run or go to the gym, the hamstrings are able to shorten properly, the core will be stronger, and the upper body will feel better too. The neck will be in a better position, you won't have as much rib flare. So if you're a practitioner, or if you're a person that has a wife or a husband or a friend or a family member that has this posture, go through this video as like a how-to and a follow along and see if you can hit those points. Always err on the side of caution and make sure the person on the table is in charge. They can direct you, they can tell you if it's too much pressure or if they want more pressure. And watch along for part 2 of this series, because Jason's going to take me downstairs and take me through how the implication of this posture can affect your gym work and how you can tweak a few things to get more out of your workouts, all right? So thanks for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want more content, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.